Hi, when we talk about absenteeism, actually absenteeism is everywhere. Many organizations will be facing the same thing about the absenteeism. So here I will explain about how absenteeism can be happen and how to overcome it.
So I will explain the two possible reasons for the absenteeism. So first of all is the caring for the children. Having children has been found in a long traditional research to increase employee absenteeism. Women missing more days of work and leaving work early, often more than men. So absenteeism will be greater for employees who have a greater number of children, who have younger children, or those who have children that are disabled. And those employees who have older children will experience lower absenteeism, as these children will be available to help care for the younger siblings or for the younger children. And children until they reach a certain age or level of maturity require constant supervision. And the child is ill, one of the parents may have to call in sick to look after the child, because this may lead to the high absenteeism, because they have to go back to the home and bring the children to the hospital or the clinics. The second point of the possible reason of absenteeism is caring for parents. Of the 24 million people who care for the aging parents or elderly relatives, 60% of them work full or part-time. They are often left to work or early to leave, or they are often late to work, or maybe they're early to leave the work, or they distracted by the throughout the workday. And employees who are helping a more impaired parents, who spend more hours helping their parents, or maybe who live in the same household with the parents, have higher absenteeism. Absenteeism will be lower for those whose parent is in a nursery home or other institution. However, this is a torn between family obligation and duties at work. There is rarely balance for these caregivers, and this when one of the parents falls sick, they have to the children or those employees have to bring their parent to the clinic, to the hospital. For example, when one of the employees' parents falls sick or they have problem at home, so these employees may call in sick, and they have to look after their parents at home. So maybe they would bring their parents to the hospital or clinics or any nursery. So this may affect the work at the workplace.
Hi, my name is Colette Ellis. I'm an executive coach, founder of InStep Consulting, and author of Focus on Your Vision. Today I'm going to discuss the problem of terminating employees who have chronic absenteeism. As a manager, it can be difficult to know when and how to terminate employees, particularly those employees who have many recurring absences from work. Your first step is to know what is protected absenteeism. The Family Medical Leave Act allows employees to have between 12 or 26 weeks of absences from work within a 12-month period. These absences can be for their own medical conditions, to care for a sick family member, or to take care of an injured or ill service member. The Americans with Disabilities Act also suggests that employers provide reasonable accommodations for employees who have disabilities, and this may include time off from work. You want to make sure that you have a very clear attendance policy. In that policy, provide guidelines to employees as to how and when they should report their absences. And finally, you really want to keep effective attendance records. These attendance records can be helpful for documentation, both for providing notices or warnings to employees, as well as can help protect your company if an employee should sue after being terminated. So those are just some of the problems of terminating employees who have chronic absenteeism. Let me know in the comments area if this information was helpful for you, and feel free to share any information that you've come up with on your own. This is Coach Colette sharing tips and ideas on how you can be happier in the workplace.
Okay, first, the organization itself has to do something with their internal source, which is the organization has to come up with, for example, like write attendance policy, because it can formalize the organization expectation for attendance, either by writing on attendance policy, or they have to inform to the manager. Okay, it can be two types, which is tidy absenteeism or the absenteeism itself. For tidy absenteeism, actually is defined as an employee who arrives to work which is late 30 minutes. That's for tidy absenteeism. For absenteeism, it defined as an employee who has 6 more, not unplanned to come to work. Okay, so that the employee itself has to tell the manager on duty why they cannot come to work and what are the reasons.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, the second way is the organization has to set clear attendance expectation. Okay, for example, the organization has to make some briefing or meeting with the employees about the importance of presenteeism instead of absenteeism. Because if we know that the organization is want to achieve the goal in terms of job performance, in terms of the job done, so that the employee has need workforce. People work on the task given, so that if the employee is absent from the work, so there might be delay or might be some problem in the future. So that the organization and good employee should contact. Okay, the employee should contact the manager on duty about their absence, why they not come to work, and what are the reason. And also the employee should understand, okay, how often is acceptable to have an unplanned absence. So how many times of missing work over a performance line, and what the consequences will be they facing if they continuously absent from the work. So for example, like employees should be graded, okay, for the attendance of the annual employee performance appraisal form. Okay, that's one of example for a second way how to overcome the absenteeism in the organization. Next is provide employee support. Sometimes employees are simply experiencing a challenging time of life. This is when providing support through EAP programs. EAP program is simply like the organization provide consultation or the counseling for the employees about to solve their problem and so on. So it can help them deal with personal issues that might be affecting the attendance. This kind of support can help employees over a hump and makes them feel like the employer cares about them, which is a determining factor of employee engagement. In order for an organization to be successful, it needs committed and engaged workforce. And the way to foster commitment and engagement is good communication of expectation, empathetic employee support, and a structured process to reward good performance. Okay, the fourth point is reward good attendance. Some organizations reward for good attendance to the employee, okay, by giving bonus every annually, okay, so that if they commit to their job with the unplanned absence, okay, so that the employer will collect and incorporate it to the annual performance appraisal process. So employee can seek reward in the way of merit increasing. So another tactic is to provide adequate paid time off. So employees has the option of planning for absence. okay, by using a performance appraisal or performance bank of hours.
Most large organizations spend a lot of money with identifying the key competencies for superior work performance. What is the potential benefit associated with identifying competencies? One of the benefits is to evaluate that organization-funded training and professional development activities are cost-effective, goal-oriented, and productive. The second benefit is enable employees to achieve a high level of performance in an efficient manner. The third benefit is reduced cost overrun caused by the poor performance and miscommunication of the job performance. Capacity. If an applicant lacks the required capacities, nothing else matters. That person simply cannot do this particular job. Therefore, when creating a job analysis, the first is physical capacities. If employees will be bending, lifting, reaching, or climbing, indicate the nature and scope of your requirement in terms of distance, frequency, and the length of time spent doing the task. Includes specific about the weight, shape, and the size of materials. Don't forget to include auditory and visual acuity. Second is mental capacities. Define how much thinking and learning the job requires. Include specific on the scope or frequency of the duty and the knowledge and abilities required for the success on the job. Mental capacities might include the ability to understand and carry out oral or written instruction, read work orders, tickets, graph, logs, or schedule. Prepare detailed technical records or reports, inspect, examine, and observe product, equipment, or work shipment, or identify the correct defects. After capacities, the most important requirement is the right attitude. Where the needed capacities exist, a positive attitude will determine the success on the job. Without the right attitude, an employee won't do well, no matter how proficient their skill is. In fact, it is much easier to train an employee with a winning attitude to do the job than it is to try to train people with the right skills to smile and be pleasant if they are naturally inclined otherwise. Hire for attitude and train for skills. The next quality that we may observe is personality. It is difficult to find an applicant with the right personality when hiring, even promoting, because there are actually 4 personality dimensions involved. In addition to your new hire personality, be aware of the job personality, your personality, and company's personality. Few, if any, applicant personalities will align perfectly with all 3, but the closer the match, the better the fit. Most important is how closely the applicant's personality matches the job. For instance, some qualities you might be looking for include attention to detail, working with people, and assertiveness or competitiveness. People tend to do well at things that they enjoy doing and that they come naturally to them. Successful people do things well even if they don't really like to do them because they are able to manage their own personality. Fingerprint. The next quality is skill. Employers will always put skills before capacities when hiring make a big mistake. A person with the right capacities and attitude can be trained in the needed skills. The desired capacities and attitude, however, cannot be taught. Remember, the preferred rule is to hire for attitude and train for skill. Of course, some jobs require a certain skill level, and frequently there is no time to train new employees because you must hire immediately. In these cases, your top two priorities become capacities and skill. Skills are the easiest job requirement to identify and verify. If you need someone to drive a forklift, operate a cash register, or do data entry, you can easily test for these abilities. If you absolutely require certain skills, or if you do not plan to train new hires, then testing for required skill should take place very early in the hiring process and always before interviews, so you don't spend any unnecessary time with unskilled applicants.
Okay, I will talk about the pitfalls. The first pitfall that most people encounter is the lack of planning. A goal without a plan is just a wish, which is quoted by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Planning is very important in an organization because when they plan, they can identify the goals that can be achieved. When there are goals, they can identify on how the goals to be achieved. So by having goals, they can properly plan on how to achieve the goal. Not only they can identify on how to achieve it, but they can also identify what are the risks that they will be facing. So by having a proper planning, they can avoid the risk from happening. However, with the lack of planning, they will fail to achieve the goal and they will also fail to identify the risk that they will be facing. If there is no planning, people will rush through the necessary steps by rushing and skipping steps and people's input. Thus, this will affect the organization. To prevent this from happening, they must consider the impact that competition assessment might have on individuals, work teams, and overall the organization. So, when they plan, they can question themselves whether what they are doing will be impact to the organization or will it help the organization. So with this, they will think first before they act on doing something. They tend to be more careful so that it won't affect the organization. So when they plan properly, things will go out smoothly according to the organization, and the goals can be achieved. Okay, so the second pitfalls is the execution pitfalls. The hurrier I go, the behind I get, which is quoted by Pennsylvania Dutch proverb. In the pressure of business life, most people are under pressure to do more than less. As they drive for results, sometimes they can get sloppy and miss the mark. This kind of people are trying to get best result, but they are not focusing on the quality of the work. They are just thinking of getting the work done fast. This will lead to insufficient testing and validation. In an organization, there are some people are in a rush to get the results. The project team will be under stress from senior leadership because they did not satisfied with the results given. When they were to evaluate the employees' project, they had identified some of the pitfalls. In the interest of time, it turned out that the acquiring and the acquired organization use terms differently, resulting in confusion and inaccurate data. By having an inaccurate data, this can affect the organization and this will make the customer will lose their focus in the organization. This is why quality is important in an organization so that the customer will stay loyal in that organization. To get the customer to be loyal, they must acquire accurate data and stop rushing doing their job. To prevent this from happening, they must conduct a pilot project to test the processes and get feedback from the superiors. As a superior, they must monitoring the employee that they are doing their job properly and obtain quality results. Thus, they must test and validate well throughout the whole processes. Therefore, they must conduct a pilot project to test everything, including communicating and training program. By having feedback, they know what they are lacking and know which part that they don't understand. Using this feedback, they can improve themselves to obtain a higher quality of products.